This town's been pretty safe. October 9th, 2005 was at the tail end of about 2.5 days of rain. We got a burst, according to the National Weather Service, about 15 inches of rain in a very short period of time.
I mean, it wasn't that houses got damaged, it wasn't that houses got moved, it was that houses got washed utterly away, and the land they sat on as well, washed utterly away.
But we did a pretty good job of getting people out of the way, and it was all over by sunup.
Within days of the event, the selectmen in the town of Alstead had a town meeting. They opened the doors to the gym in the school and invited everybody in, and one of the selectmen said, I need help. We can't do this on our own, and we're looking for volunteers out there.
At the end of our first public meeting, when we threw our hands up in public and said, we don't really know what we're doing here, and there's somebody in the community that doesn't know what we're doing either, but would like to get involved. And what the selectmen needed right then was some backup.
So I woke up the next morning and got dressed, and I came down here bright and early, about 8 something, and Joel was sitting in the middle office and smiled at me, and this whole time the phone back here was ringing, and I looked at him and I said, somebody need to answer that? And he's like, sure, go ahead. The next thing I know is you're handing me a huge check from Citizens Bank. You said go down to the bank and deposit it and figure out some way to track all this. I'm true. Like, okay.
So Marianne, Fran, Tebow, Pam, and Martha said, we'll help. And they quickly formed we lovingly refer to them as the Flood Babes, because they volunteered their time. They put in tireless amount of energy into helping their neighbors, and they worked as a team.
And when I made the plea for volunteers, I'm not sure I had thought of exactly what we got.
Pretty quickly, they all sort of realized what their strengths were, and they all did a different piece of the puzzle. Pam was in charge of logistics. Martha was a very organized person in terms of the data system. So she managed the information on all of the people in town and who needed what and who got what, and tracked all the numbers so that when the state called and said, how many people? Martha knew it. Marianne, I think, was the strong advocate that was willing to go toe-to-toe with any bureaucratic process that was going to get in the way of helping her neighbors.
Marianne was just ruthless when it came to soliciting services from people outside the area who could come here and do something, that would make it all better.
One day I'm sitting here, it's late, and a well guy comes in, and he says, my company wants to donate a well, you need to find the person. I said, okay. And then it took me a couple hours to realize, well, if one well company will do that, what about the other well company? So, again, I just picked up the phone. I said, hey, this is what I'm going to do. And the guys were like, go for it. So I called the water well board, and I said, hey, we've got, 25 people here that need wells. Do you have a way of emailing all of them? He says, no, well, yeah, we do. And we also have water well board meetings, and we'll discuss this. And I thought, well, that might take too long. And I said, thank you. I said, that might take too long. Why don't I just call these people directly? And the first guy said, absolutely, and if you have any trouble with any water well companies, you tell me. And I was like, cool. So, and then the water well board started calling me, so they started feeding us well companies a little bit. But I think we got 9 donated wells, so if a well costs somewhere between $7,000 and $14,000, that's a lot of bucks that we got for free.
What I've learned as selectman is you have to let the community sort of work. No one person is going to think of everything, and things will just develop, and they'll come up from the grassroots, and they will just be what they need to be, and that's what happened here.
Well, I worked flood recovery for a good 2+ years. Best job of my life, albeit unpaid. It's made the town stronger somehow, I think.